Welcome back to the Artefactors Union. I am your host and foreman, Douglas Scoundrels, and today we are assembling the alternative Rogue Necromancy. This is not the regular Rogue Necromancy, this is the alternative one for the Resurrectionist faction, the experimental and forgotten keyword. Our artwork on the box is telling us it's a very lovely boy made up of multiple lovely boys. Render on the back, it's standing goat, bear, bat, snake thing. Delicious. This is what we have for us brew, plus this additional little bit. So, order of assembly is going to be grab the torso and do the chest and shoulders. Then we'll add the right leg. Move on to the tail, the snake part of the tail, and the other half of the snake. Then we'll go ahead and, do, I think this is the right arm, the left arm. Then, the wings. So one wing and then two halves of the other wing. I think those are it. We will finish up with the two halves of the goat head, put that on, and the two halves of the bear head, and put that on. That's a long-winded way of saying start with the torso, then add the chest and shoulders. Torso, add the chest. That sunken gut is intentional. You can see the seam there. Nice and tight. That's an arm socket, so don't worry about that too much. Now, let's do the shoulders. Okay, this looks uncomfortable, so we're going to go ahead and fill out the upper part of the torso before we move on to the bottom half. I think a good point of reference is going to be this seam right here where the chest and the shoulders can connect, as well as this seam right here. You can see the very obvious place where the wings are going to connect on the back. So let's go ahead and do our arms and heads. So we have our left arm, and then all the way over here, our right arm, as well as our upper right arm. I just now realized he's got two right arms. So this is one on the bottom, this one is the one on the top. And then as far as our heads, we'll do our left head first, which is the goat head, which is these two pieces. And then our right head, which is the bear, which is this piece. And down here in the corner, I am blind. Okay, grab this, the left arm. Before and after went in just fine, nice smooth seam. Now the challenging part, our right side, I think actually we'll start with the upper right arm, which is the one with the bird claw, this guy. Okay, that was slightly awkward, but I got it working. Might actually be better to do these two arms and then do the back shoulders. I could see that being easier, but now we can do the bottom right arm, the other bear claw thing, whatever. Yep, a little awkward to get it in there, but definitely a lot easier now that the upper right arm is in there. I definitely didn't try to put this one in first. Double check our seams. There we go. And I'm relatively certain the rest of that gap is going to be the wings. But now we can go ahead and get started on the heads. Let's do the goat head first. Right half of the goat head plus the left half of the goat head, and this one does not have the tooth connection point to it, so we'll actually do the bear head first because I'm relatively certain this one will be easier to add on to the bear head. Right half of the bear head plus the left half of the bear head. Now let's add that onto our mini. Keep in mind it will attach here, this connection point. Thought it'd be harder to wedge into that gap between the chest and the shoulders, but actually went in just fine. Very small seam. Okay, now add the goat head. There we be. Okay, now let's go ahead and do that. Basically everything else. We only got a few bits left. Okay, we'll start with the right leg, and then add the tail, followed by the cobra onto the end of the tail, and then the head of the cobra. We'll do the right wing here, followed by the part of the left wing that's connected to the back, and then the second part of the left wing. Before, right leg was real easy. Okay, now the tail, you can see the connection point at like the base of the spine there. There it goes. At this point, I think probably be best to just attach them to the base now. That's just to make sure this doesn't wiggle out of place and suddenly become an issue to try to get it attached to the base correctly. So now let's do the snake body. Okay, that's roughly the seam we're looking for. I had to rip them off the base and put them a little bit further forward because the snake was running into the rim of the base. So that should be good. Wait till it cures, and then add the other half of the snake head. There it is. I thought it had cured. It had not. Probably smarter to just put the two pieces of the cobra together first before you glue it onto the end of the tail. But there's no way this is going to stay this way unless you put them on the base. So I think that was a good idea. All right, next is going to be our right wing, which is the fully completed wing. And that went in just fine. Looking at our seam, he looks good. Now put the inner half of the left wing next, like so. And our last piece of the wing on the end here. And there we go. It can be sitting on the base. It looks like mine's not. Not sure if that's an issue with how I built the model or not. Might just be real close. Watch out for the scorpion. You're going to knock it out of place. But yeah, he's done. Let's review him. Alt Rogue Necromancy is done. Yeah, hardest parts were getting the chest and the shoulders to connect correctly, as well as the right arms and the cobra connecting to the tail. Now, if I were to do this again, I think I would add the chest and then do all of my arms, followed by the shoulders, then the heads if I wanted. It doesn't really matter. The heads can be last for like hair, leg, tail, snake, wings. Very similar to how I'd done it. So, not too far off. But it looks very pretty, and I can't wait to paint it. But I have been your foreman, Douglas Scoundrels, helping you build a better Malifaux. Have a good night.